What's up everybody, Tweets here, and in this video I am going to show you guys how to make a custom crossbow. So this is going to be very similar to my custom weapon tutorial, which is linked in the description just in case you guys need to reference it. It's going to be very similar to that, minus a couple little tweaks. So like everything else, first things first, in your P drive, create your folder. So in here, I just made simple crossbow. Inside there, you're going to have your data folder. And inside your data folder, you're going to have your P3D when you're done, your model config, your RV mats, and your textures. Now, I have gone over many times in many of my other videos on converting the textures over to PAAs and making your RV mats. So you can reference the weapon tutorial for that if you're not familiar. But if you need a sample RV mat, you can just go in your P drive. What I did is I went to the DayZ folder, went to weapons, archery, crossbow, and I took out of the data the vanilla crossbow, damage, and destruct RV mats. And I copied them over. Now what you're going to want to do when you copy them over is you're going to want to change them. So I changed mine to sample crossbow, because you do not want any of your textures or your RV mats to be the same name as the vanilla one. That'll just throw it all off. So make sure you always change the names. Once you get your textures and your RV mats all done, then it's the import of the model process. So just like in the weapons tutorial, always start out by import your model, FBX, make sure there's no animations, and then once you get your model imported, you're going to create a proxy to size it. So you're going to create a proxy, so go to browse. Now for the crossbow, you're going to just use the vanilla, so P drive, DayZ, weapons, archery, crossbow, pull in the vanilla crossbow proxy, and then start your bulldozer so you can line everything up inside it. Okay, so now we have our bulldozer up. You'll see that I have already sized and lined it up for this one, but you're going to want to line up the triggers, so make sure those triggers are lined up as close as you can get. Make sure its size is very similar to the vanilla one. Now, this model was a free model off Sketchfab, so it's not the greatest, but it'll do for what we have to do. Once you get your item sized up, so just in case, I'll show you real quick, you'll have your model selected. You can move it around by just holding right click, and dragging, and you can size it by just holding left control, left shift, and then right click and go drag up and down, and that'll change your size. So now that being said and done, after you get it sized, you get it lined up to how you want it, you will delete your proxy for the crossbow. So you just click on the proxy for the crossbow, hit delete on your keyboard, and then right click and delete the actual proxy selection. Once that is done, you're going to want to select the whole body of the model minus the rope, because I'm going to talk to you here about the rope in a minute. There's some good practice for the rope here. Is sometimes you'll see a model, if you get a model with your rope, if you see these little notches here, I call them selection points, their faces. But what I do, you want a model that doesn't have so many of them going down the line like this. You do not because then you're going to have to sit there and weight paint, because these, unlike the weapons tutorial and regular rifles, crossbows, the rope here and then the arm of the crossbow are weight painted, which I will get into here in a minute. So if you have multiple notches, you're going to have a long process of trial and error until you get the right pressure and the right weight color on it until it looks right. So what I did is I just went in Blender and I made just a straight little rope, easy peasy. You can also just select, if you want, in my raw files from the video, select just the rope from my model. And just like that, copy it and bring it over yours and delete the rope that's already on your model if you want, to make it easier. But once you have that, you're going to select just the body, not the rope, just the body. And you're going to give it a ZB tech or color. So create new color. You're going to give it a selection of that or ZB tech. So that way you can, I'm going to delete it because I already did ZB tech. But that way you can do multiple retextures, and that's your texture selection. Once you have that, you're going to hit your selection, hit E, and apply your texture in your RV map. So just go add your CO and then your RV map. And then that's that. Then your texture and RV map will be applied. Now for the rope, what I did was I'm not using an RV mat. I just selected just the rope since it's not part of the original model. Now if yours is fine and part of the original model, you don't have to worry about this part. Just have the whole thing in your ZB10. Since this one's not part of my ZB10. It's actually got no selection. Once you select the rope, hit E, then you hit the little color palette, and I just gave it a black color. Not even an RV mat. So that's just the rope. You don't need it to shine. You don't need it to be retexturable. And then that's it. Now, the textures, the RV mats are applied. We're going to get into the weight painting part. Now, unlike the weight painting I showed you guys before for clothing, this here will be different because there's really no model to work from to line it up to transfer weights. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned manual way in Object Builder. So what you're going to do first, you're going to create a new selection over here in your box. And you're going to call it Chord. So once you have chord, which here, I'll do it here first. So let me delete what I have and we'll do it from scratch here. So you're going to create a new selection, but you're going to want nothing selected. So let me make sure that this is not, yeah, that has something selected. So make sure nothing is selected. So click off somewhere and then create new chord. Enter. There we go. Now, the weight paint, you're going to hit N on your keyboard. That'll bring up your color selection. Now, I always bring down the solid area a little bit, which will shrink the circle down, just to make it easier so I'm not hitting anything that I don't want to hit. So we're going to start where the most force is going to be, which is right here in the middle of the rope. So I'm going to have the highest red, and I'm going to keep everything the way it is like this. And then I'm just going to zoom in on these two little faces. And I'm going to just left click, drag left click, and paint it. Just like that. Then I am going to bring down the strength to about right there. And then I'm going to bring down the color to about like right here. And then I'm going to hit the ends of the rope. and then the arm. So if I zoom in, you'll see that the end faces selection points that I was talking about earlier are all blue now. And then you're going to do the same thing to the arm. And then on this side as well. Just like this. Now, once you have all that painted, we're going to right click on your chord selection that you just made. You're going to click redefine. And then you're going to exit that. And then go back to right here under faces and click on select object. So now you have your selection tool. So now if you check, you'll click body and then click chord, and then boom, you'll see that it's now weight painted and it is defined. Now that's the weight painting part. After that, you're just gonna make your selections. So select the trigger, create new, obviously trigger, select the whole body. You could just take your ZB Tech too and just click on that until it's all selected, hit new, and then call it body. Shutter will be the little portion at the top here. This is where, like the normal gun would be, the iron sights area. So you'll just select this section and call it shutter. Now for the proxies, I just have a regular ACOG proxy and I have it lined up, as you just see. Now you see here the arrow. This is empty proxy. It's for the arrow. You'll see that it's empty. You can't see it. But what you do is you get that lined up pretty center, and you want it to be kind of look just like this on your model. So you want it centered on there, kind of resting at the top, kind of where the arrow would be, and this would be the tip of the arrow. And then that's kind of where you want it. Now to get that proxy, you can either just copy it from my P3D, which will be in the description, and paste it and line it up with yours, or you can just go to create, proxy, browse, P drive, DayZ, weapons, projectiles, and then you'll just scroll down to see empty, and then hit open, and then OK. And then that's that. Once you have that in there, you're going to click on the empty proxy, make sure it's red, nothing else. Then you're going to right click, create a new selection, and call it bullet. So that way, because I already did it, so I just deleted what I just did, but if you clicked on bullet, the proxy will show up. So that's what you want. Now, that's going to be it for the main mod. Now you could do your geometry, which is normal, like all the others. Auto center for the property, 0. Create your bots, get it lined up. So you just create bots, and then when it spawns in, line it up with your model as close as you can get it. Obviously here, I just did a quick one when I was making this, but it doesn't have to be perfect, but anyway, something like that. Something like that would be all right. But once you get your geometry in, now you're going to copy that one. So to get your component, it's really, I'll just do it from scratch. You select your bots when it's done. Once you have it lined up, structure, topology, find component. And then boom, you can copy that, add it to your view geometry, paste it right in there, and then you'll have the same thing. So it'll be like that. And then your fire geometry, you're going to want this one to be tighter. So you're going to do multiple boxes. And then once you get those boxes lined up, you're going to have all of them selected. And it's the same thing. Once they're all selected, structure, topology, find component, boom, you'll have all your components. Just like that. Now, once you get the boxes in, you're going to have the components selected, so just those boxes are red. You're going to hit E, and you're going to apply a penetration RV mat. So you're just going to hit open the folder. It'll be in your P drive, DayZ, data again, penetration, and then look for a material. So in this case, I just went with plastic, and then boom, then you'll hit OK. And then you're going to copy your proxies over. So the empty and the ACOD from your main one, you're just going to copy them over and paste them. Now when you do that, it'll auto bring the bullet since it's tied to the empty. So it'll auto bring that. So you want to keep it that way. That's fine. Once you have that done, we're going to have the fun part of the memory. So same thing in here with the proxy. You're going to copy over just the ACOD proxy or your optic proxy, and that's it. Now, much like your weapons and that you've done in the past, and I've showed in my weapon tutorial, you're going to have a lot of similar things here. You're going to have your eye points. So you want it lined up pretty much where the eye is going to be on the optic and kind of right here on the back. You don't want that lined up. Same with the eye scope 68. It's going to be in the same place as eye pretty much. And then same with the eye scope. I am 68 and then eye scope. Same thing. Now you're also going to have this proxy here, which is hide arrow. Well, it's not proxy, these points. And then I have it set so it's just it's centered on the gun, or not the gun, crossbow. It's like that. So we have a top point and a bottom point, and it's kind of off-centered right here. And then you'd have the hide arrow, which is hide arrow axis. That's self-explanatory. Hide arrow, that's what that points does. So it hides the arrows. So after that, you're going to want, obviously, your arm axis. You're going to want these items. So you got the left and the right, and now you'll see that I have them. Left is on the left end of the arm, and it's above and below. So it's lined up on it. And the same with the right, but it's on the right side. You bound and box them in, you bound and box mats. It's going to be the same like any other gun. CE center, CE radius, just like the everything else in view. Now the other only different is string axis. So string axis, you're going to have where the string starts, you'll see, and then where the string is going to end, where it's going to get pulled back to. So you'll see how I have it. So it'll start here and it'll get pulled back to here. That is the axis. To do any of this, by the way, you just click anywhere on the screen and hit insert, and it'll create a point, and you can line it up to where you want it. Then create another one. Line it up to where you want it. Select the two that you just created. Now I know I'm selecting other ones here, but it's fine. I'm not saving this, so this is just for minor purposes. Once you have them two selected, you'll right click, create a new selection, and call it string axis. But just like that, and then hit enter. But we don't need that. So that's that, the string axes. Then you have your trigger axis, which obviously is going to be lined up with the trigger. then your toner half and your USTL halves. You're going to see, just like on a weapon, we have, this is where the arrow's going to end up getting shot out, obviously, out of there. So you're going to want centered pretty much on your crossbow, just like that. It's pretty much the same thing as my weapons tutorial, exactly, except for it's a couple added things like arm L, axis, arm R for the arm, so you got the left and the right, the hide arrow, and the string axis. Those will be the only different memory points that you add. Once you have all of that done, also you could just copy mine here. You could just copy what I have here, paste it to yours, and then line it up with yours each point. But that's that for the memory. Now, res lods you're gonna want. I recommend res lods now on everything. So I have how to do them in my weapons and my zombie tutorial. I'll tell you really quick how to do it though, because it's very easy. You just duplicate your main LOD a couple times, probably about 3 times. Then you'll save your P3D. So I'm just going to save it separately because I don't want to mess up the one that I already did here. So I'm going to save my P3D. Then I am going to bring up Blender. Make sure you have the armor toolbox in your Blender. I have a video showing how to do that. Once Blender opens, delete the little box, import P3D, bring in your P3D. Now you'll see everything, your proxies, everything. So what you're going to do is you're going to hide everything at first. So you're going to just click the eyes, skip in the second one. So every other. So start with 0 and work your way down until you got everything hidden. There we go. And now you're going to start with 1. Skip 0, go to 1. Click on the eye so you just see that LOD. Click on the green little triangle. Click the little wrench. Add modifier, generate, decimate. Drop it down a little bit. Then click the eye. Go to 2. Same thing. Click the triangle. Wrench, modifier, decimate, bring it down even more. Click the eye. 3. Same thing. Modifier, generate, decimate, and even more than before. And then that's it. And then you'll export it as a P3D. And you could just override your P3D that's in your P drive with it. And then you'll open it up and you'll see you have res lods. But that's that. So that is everything for the P3D. And then you can exit all that. Your P3D will be done. And then you'll make your model config. So what I did, let me close all these tabs here. To get a model config, you can go to Materials Tools, go to Eliteness, go and get go to DayZ in your P drive, go to Weapons, then once you click on Weapons, click on Archery, then Crossbow, and then double click on the Crossbow P3D. It'll be here on the right hand side will be the model config. So you're just going to copy that over, paste it, and then you're going to take your P3D name in your P drive, right click, rename, just copy the name of it. You can close that all out now. Bring up your model config that you're working on and just change the classes to your P3D name. So change crossbow to whatever your is. And then change your selection, whatever you use for the texture. So you could have used color, camo. I use ZB Tech. So that would be that. And then I always delete this. You don't have to do this, by the way. I just do it just because I do. But make sure you leave these little semicolons. And then you just save that as model.cfg. And then just like it'll look just like that. Same thing. But you'll save it as model.cfg in your P drive folder, in the same folder that your P3D is in. It has to be in the same folder. Otherwise, it won't work. So that covers the P3D and the model config. Now the actual config. So what you're gonna do, what I did is I went to my P drive, DayZ, weapons, then I went to archery, crossbow. I opened up their config and I just started editing it. So I changed my base class, obviously. Well, I'll show you what I did now. We'll go back to mine. So it's the same thing, but I changed my class already to sample crossbow. I added a CFG mods to read our scripts folders, and so it pats it under the proper name, full file name, which is CFG mods. That's the name. You want it to be your folder name. So we do our config. So I based it off the vanilla crossbow. This way I don't have to script the actual weapon or the animations. It's just a crossbow. And this way you can avoid that. So I based it off the vanilla. I gave it my custom base class, sample crossbow base. My display name, that's the only things that I've really changed. My path to my model, which you just go to your P drive, go to where your model is, and get your path. Just like that. And then copy and paste it right there. And then add your P3D name. Now, chambered form, this is for the ammo. You keep what is already there from the vanilla, but since I'm going to show you guys how to make exploding bolts in a minute, you're going to add that after, but I'll show that in a minute. I didn't mess with anything else like the weight or anything. The item size, barrel armor. I didn't mess with any of that. Attachments, I just kept weapon optics. I changed, obviously they had camo here, but I put my hidden selection. Now you're going to leave these selections. You'll see on the vanilla config that it has those simple hidden selections for the bullets. You're going to leave that alone. And then have a path here for your hidden selection textures to your texture in your mod folder. Same with the damage system. You're going to have the path to your RV mats instead of the path to theirs. And then that's it. I didn't mess with anything else except for down here I made my regular class because this was all here. This is all base class. So all this is the base class, which since it's scope 0, it won't spawn. You won't see it. This is just to give it the base code. Now, this is your actual item code. It's scope 2. This is what will actually spawn in. So it's less that you have to put. So you just got your regular class name plus now your custom base class that you made that will read the whole top part with a path to the texture. That's it. Scope 2. And then you'll take that class name right here. It's for your actual item. And you'll put that under units. So everything works properly and spawns in properly. Once that's all done, you got all your paths, you got everything you want. Your config's done. You'll save it as a config.cpp. obviously, like I've showed many times. And then your crossbow will be done. Now, for the exploding arrow bolt, the bolts, it's going to be just like a video I did. So you're going to create a folder in here, in your underneath your data, call it exploding bolts, ammo, whatever you want. Inside here, I got a config. Now I'm just using the vanilla model for the ammo for just a regular bolt because I couldn't find a good free 3D model for exploding bolts that have like a little explosive on it, and I am not paying for a model for a tutorial. So plus I couldn't share the raw files out if I used the paid model. So I just went with the vanilla. But it's just like the exploding ammo tutorial. You're just going to do the same exact thing. The only difference is instead of bullet base for the bullet, is I'm using bolt base. And you're still going to have, like I did in the exploding ammo tutorial, I'll link that below too in the description. We'll have explosive equals 1 under the bullet and the sound set for the explosives. Other than that, this is the vanilla bolt config, which I just got from the P drive, DayZ, weapons, projectiles, and it's in this config. You can just search, find bolt, and this is the hunting bolt, and I used the improvised one. So I just used this part of the config. And then I added these 2 lines right here for the explosive. And that's it. And I gave it my class name. And then you got your ammo type, bullet type class here, which is your bullet name. And then you have spawn pile type under the bullet config. Will be your ammo class, which is the top part right here. And then that's it. Just like the exploding ammo tutorial and the ammo section on my weapon tutorial. It's exactly the same. Only difference is bolt base, and I'm using the path to their vanilla bolts instead of bullets. And that's it. Now for the scripting, you're going to have a scripts folder, and this is why we have the CFG mods in our main config with paths to a world and a game scripts. So for the world script, for world, in your scripts folder that you made for this, you're just going to have one for the ammunition. And that's it. It's got your ammo class name. That's it. Since we did off the vanilla crossbow, we don't have to do any animation scripts or weapon scripts. Now the only other script will be the 3-game script. And this is for the exploding ammo. The only thing in here you're going to have to change is you're going to give it your bullet class name. So go down to your bullet class name, copy it, and just paste it in here, which will tell the game that it's an explosive and to give it the particle of the grenade M84 explosion when it hits. And that's it. Save it. Done. Now that's how you do all that. So then you're just going to go back to your main config for your crossbow with your ammo class name. You're going to copy it and add it. So vanilla would look like this. You would just add a comma at the end of the last one, enter, quote, put your new class name, end quote, done. And then that'll add so your crossbow to take all the vanilla ammo plus the exploding bolts. That's it. That's everything. Then now you should have a custom crossbow with custom explosive bolts. So you save everything and then you pack it. And then once you pack it, you test it. I always delete temp files before I pack. And then you pack. And then you go and test. Okay, so now that we're in game, let's go ahead and spawn. I'm going to go in God mode because we are going to be dealing with explosive rounds here. I am going to spawn in our items. So we're going to look up our gun. Well, crossbow. We're going to spawn that in. Then we are going to spawn in our bolts. Now, so we can test to make sure those work and this works. So we bring in our crossbow. Check the position of it, make sure the finger, everything looks good. You got it lined up how you want it. Model looks okay. I mean, for a free model. Now what you're gonna do first is you're gonna tap R just to make sure that the string gets pulled back and the weight part works. I mean, it's a little bit wonky. We could adjust the strength of the weights a little bit. You could lower or raise it if you need to, and then redefine it on the chord selection, and then save and repack if you need to. But for the most part, that's not too bad. But you get the idea. So now you just want to make sure that part works. Now we're gonna actually load one of our custom rounds and make sure that works. So hold R. Yep, there we go. It put the bolt on. You just see it on there now. Check your sight. Make sure it's not too bad and blurry. Okay, now we test the explosive rounds. Fire. Boom. And there we go. So now you have a custom crossbow and custom explosive bolts. So yeah, that's it. That's how you make a custom crossbow, and now you have custom bolts. If you have exploding bolts, if you have any questions, join my Discord, which will be linked below in the description, as well as a link to the raw files from the video, as well as links to my weapons tutorial and my explosive rounds tutorial, just in case you need to reference those. Until then, thanks for watching. Make sure you sub, like, comment for more, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out, guys.